I wanted to talk a little bit just about, as I mentioned in the introduction, uh, the initial verses of chapter 32 were not in your assignment for translation. Uh, and it's one of those difficult things. Do I assign the entire chapter, chapter 32, for your translation? How long is it? 32 verses. I've tried to keep it under that. So I took key sections, but I wanted to comment on the initial verses, especially about the Mahanaim, but also the departure from northern Mesopotamia, where he has spent 14 years plus, gaining wives and concubines and sons, and at least some daughters as well, such as Dinah, who will kind of become part of the scene as they return to the land of Canaan. But again, in the Hebrew, verse 1 is the last verse of the English text. And so we have Vayashkem, a classic PL form, excuse me, a Hiphil form. Vayashkem, the Hiphil being where you have an A-class vowel under the prefix and a E-class vowel between the second and third letters of the root. And this, of course, is the time where he gets up early. Laban does in the morning. And then Vayin Nasek, where you have the Shua under the Yod and the A-class vowel under the first letter of the root, and that's a classical PL imperfect. So Hiphil followed by the PL, and this, of course, has to do with kisses his sons and daughters, blesses them, Yivarek, again, another PL that you've seen several times. And then he went and dwelled. Laban went back he went back home again on the journey, and again, some of the issues, things that were taken, go back to the story of chapter 31. So then with verse 2, Jacob now continues the journey with his entourage. Laban is returned back to his place, and the section begins by Yaakov. So it begins with Jacob, and of course is going to highlight one of the issues where later on, of course, his name is going to be changed from Jacob to Israel. So he went on his way. Simple verb halak, one of the classic beginning verbs of intro to Hebrew grammar. So he went Ladarko, on his way, and then Yifagah bo Alkei Elohim. So then he meets or encounters, perhaps a better translation. He has an encounter with these angels of God, these emissaries or messengers of God. And Jacob says, just as he was approaching the camp, that, man, must be the camp of God. And thus he called the name of the place, Hahu, that place, Mahanaim. Again, the dual ending. Machanim would be the plural, as we see in other instances. Machanayim, the ayim ending, is your dual. And again, it's going to set up the duality of the two messengers, but also we will have, of course, the two camps that will be set up in Jacob's plot to try to save his own life. It seems like all of the biblical patriarchs have some sort of encounter of or ploy, a plan to save their necks by deception. And so Jacob joins that family history, as we saw with Abraham, not once but twice, later on with Isaac, in the case of the king Abimelech, and then here with Jacob. Again, Jacob is still the deceiver, but who has, of course, been deceived, well, if you call that, but artfully maneuvered, we might call it, by Laban, in both dealing with the issue of the production of the livestock, and also with the daughters, Leah and Rachel. So then he sends, verse 4, the messengers before him to Esau, verse 4. Again, Vayishlach is simply means that he sent forth, messengers before him, the Malachim. The verb shalach is often used in sending a message, but here he's actually sending these representatives, carrying forth the message of Jacob to Esau, his brother. And they go toward the land of Seir in the fields of Edom. Again, Edom is in the southernmost area of what is today Jordan, or what we call the Transjordan territory, south of the Arnon River, centered around the capital city of Bozrah, which is just uphill from the southeastern corner of the Dead Sea. And so they as a result, if you look at that on a map, plot it out, it's a distance and a trip that will take a number of days, heading forth from the area of Mahanaim, that we know is close to Peniel, but overlooking the Jordan River. It would later, by the way, Mahanaim become one of the Transjordan secondary capitals for the northern kingdom. And even before that, with the time of David, when David escapes Jerusalem from his son Absalom in that attempted coup, David will escape to Mahanaim. Again, the same place where Jacob encountered the two messengers from God. And then, so this is a journey going down toward the region of Edom. If you just go to the edge, the southern edge of the Arnon River Gorge, we're talking about a distance that will take anywhere from 5 days to a week to get into the territory of Edom, as it's called, the Sadeh Edom, fields of Edom, in the region of Seir. Mount Seir, again, is the mountains of modern-day southern Jordan, and again, the heart of the Edomite territory. And again, there's kind of a history about that, just some of the background here they like to share. Edom, which means red, or ruddy, used to describe David, King David. I call him the red-haired king of ancient Israel. He had a red complexion and perhaps red hair. There is a fascinating genetic line that runs through both Jewish and many Arab families. That, again, this is a genetic trait that goes back many hundreds of years, millennia, actually, where there is a small percentage in the genetic factor of red-haired rather than dark-haired individuals. But anyhow, but besides that, the region of, so Mount Seir and the mountains of Edom, the region of Seir, are very reddish purple in color. Just a very, very beautiful region of southern Jordan today. So he sends the messengers down and begins the process of revealing this plan to encounter his brother, sending forth the plan to present gifts of livestock and so forth to his brother, to placate his brother as he returns, after having, of course, taken his birthright and his oral blessing from his father Isaac. So again, the plan to divide his group into two camps, one that would be first met by Edom's and Esau's group of several hundred men that perhaps seen, envisioned by Jacob as an army coming to punish Jacob for having deceived his brother. But again, Jacob attempting to survive in the midst of difficult circumstances by setting forth part of his family, part of his livestock, and his various male and female servants as kind of buffer between him and his brother Esau. Again, like his forefathers, attempting to save his own life. But in the process, he is going to encounter God.